Hello and welcome to Lore of the Storm, the series that looks to find the lore hidden behind your favourite heroes of the storm. In today's episode we go back to the world of Overwatch. As Blizzard's newest franchise, the lore isn't quite as deep as their other franchises. Yet. Won't stop me. In our last Overwatch episode covering the Widowmaker skin for Nova, we looked at the background lore of the Overwatch universe as a whole, as well as the woman herself. The most notable event we covered was the Omnic Crisis, a war between man and machine that had a profound effect on everything to follow. As a brief recap, the Omnic Crisis occurred 30 years ago, when the Omnica Corporation invented Omniums, robots capable of self-improvement. When corruption was discovered within the corporation, they and their robot creations were shut down. But the Omniums rebooted and started a war with humanity. Thanks to the formation of Overwatch, this desperate crisis was eventually resolved. 4 years after the Omnic Crisis, in a poor, crowded favela in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Lucio Correa dos Santos was born. In the wake of the Omnic Crisis, the world was thrown into financial turmoil, and it was the poorest who were hit hardest. Brazil did its best to move toward recovery, but with times so hard it was difficult for people to maintain motivation for a brighter future. Lucio was painfully aware of the hopelessness his fellow citizens felt, and wanted to find a way to re-energise them and lift their spirits. He found his answer in music. It brought people together and helped them forget about their worries, even for a few fleeting moments. Lucio took any opportunity he had though to bring these moments of joy to the people of Brazil. He performed on street corners, block parties, and as he grew older and his artistry became more refined, would go on to perform a string of legendary underground shows. With a shared desire to recover from the Omnic Crisis, the unifying quality of Lucio's music saw the youth's small community become very close. But this tightly knit community would be threatened with the arrival of the multinational Fishcar Corporation. Originating in India, Fishcar had formed after the Omnic Crisis. They set about the long process of rehousing India's displaced population in the aftermath of the crisis, building self-sustaining cities. One of these cities, Utopia, was created using a radical new technology: hard light. This allowed Fishcar's architects to shape streets, utilities and living spaces in the blink of an eye. The company cultivated a corporate culture of perfection and order, an ideal epitomised in a quote from one of Fishcar's finest architects, Symmetra. The true enemy of humanity is disorder. In fact, Symmetra's huge talents were wasted in Utopia. Fishcar would send her on secretive missions around the world, looking to uphold their corporate interests and expand their influence into other countries. Not all Fishcar's overseas activities were clandestine, as Lucio and his community would become painfully aware. The corporation began to rebuild large areas of Rio de Janeiro, telling the citizens that the development would improve their lives. But Fishcar's desire for order began to affect the citizens of Rio. To form an orderly society, they enforced curfews, cracked down on what they perceived as lawless behaviour, and exploited the populace, using them as a cheap labour force. This is when Lucio the musician became Lucio the freedom fighter. Disgusted by what Fishcar had reduced his neighbours to, Lucio stole sonic technology the company had been using to suppress the population, and converted it to have quite the opposite effect, rallying them to action. In a popular uprising, the people of Rio drove Fishcar from their city, and Lucio had earned the respect of every one of them, making him a star overnight and a symbol of positive social change. In Overwatch, and now Heroes, Lucio still uses the technology he stole from Fishcar in combat. His main weapon is the Sonic Amplifier. This piece of kit can fire projectiles of sonic energy and can let out a blast of sound so strong it is able to knock back those hit. The sound needed for the weapon is stored in a cartridge-based ammo system. The sonic amplifier can also be used defensively. Lucio has found his different musical compositions have different effects on his allies, and switches between these during combat as needed. The two tunes that Lucio brings into battle are one that pumps up his fellows, helping them move a lot quicker, and one that makes them more resistant in the face of battle, helping them recover from wounds more quickly. Lucio is also able to turn up the volume for a short period on his songs too, increasing their effect on his friends. This ability is portrayed very similarly in the two games, as is Lucio's ultimate ability. In times of dire need, Lucio leaps into the air and as he lands slams his sonic amplifier on the ground. A protective sound radiates out from the point of impact, giving all allies in the area a substantial shield that decays quickly over time, but lasts long enough for all who stood before them to have fallen. With the sonic amplifier's great effect in groups, it's easy to see how powerful it could be with an entire city being emboldened by it, and the Fishcar Corporation never stood a chance. In Heroes of the Storm, Reverse Amp was added as a second option for Lucio's heroic, turning Lucio's motivating songs into demoralising ones for his opponents. It was not only Fishcar's sound technology Lucio stole, but also stole a piece of kit making use of the company's innovative hard light technology. The blades on Lucio's skates are made of hard light, not only allowing Lucio quick movement along the ground, but movement on any surface, even if that surface is horizontal. Lucio's wall ride ability differs a little in Heroes from its Overwatch counterpart, as in Heroes he's also given a speed boost. Lucio's heroics in the face of adversity only serve to help his music career. Likely the more he understands about Fishcar's sound technology, the greater live shows he's able to put on. Even before his freedom fighting days, Lucio's music had made him somewhat of a national icon in his native Brazil. With the release of his debut album, Synesthesia Auditiva, a 2-year labour of love, Lucio looks poised to gain an even bigger international following as he takes his album out on tour. In an interview with Atlas News, Lucio revealed that the inspiration for his music was the people of Brazil. My heart beats for Brazil. I get inspired by the people here, their struggles, their triumphs. I want to share that energy, the energy of their lives, with the rest of the world. Lucio has been pleased with the album's positive reception so far. The first 2 singles released from it rocketing to the top of the charts and surpassing his breakout single Sonhos Omnikos, which he released the year before. But what Lucio is really excited about showing the world is the live show. The icon has spent 2 years working on new technology for the show to bring his music to life, hoping to transform it into far more than just an auditory experience. Lucio said his fans will not just listen to his music, but feel and see it too. So, there you have it, the small amount of lore we know so far about Lucio. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, why not send some good vibes our way by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with your friends. If you hated it and hope all music we listen to from now on is just feedback, then you can hit the dislike, I guess. Though that's a very specific thing to hope happens. If you like the art, I've done my best to credit the artists in the description below. And if you want to find out what we're up to next and the progress of current videos, just follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, I hope to see you in the Nexus.